So you're an attorney, and you're thinking about it. You're thinking about taking that huge, incredible leap, going out on your own and starting your very own solo or small law firm. It's an amazing journey, but let's be honest, it can also feel like staring up at a mountain. Today, we're going to break down a guide that gives you a solid foundation, a clear path to start that climb.
And let's just get this out of the way right now. The New York City Bar Association, in their guide, they put it perfectly. This is not easy. It's daunting, it's complicated, and it really isn't for the faint-hearted. It's a massive challenge that tests you not just as a lawyer, but as a business owner. And you know what? Acknowledging that difficulty is the very first step.
Okay, so to make this whole thing a little less daunting, here is our roadmap for today. We're going to start with the launch itself, then get into the really critical decisions about your firm's name and its structure. After that, we'll talk about how to protect your practice, how to craft client agreements that are absolutely ironclad, cover the tech you just can't live without, and finally, look at your next steps.
All right, first up, the launch. Building anything from the ground up requires a really solid blueprint. So let's start laying that foundation right now.
Now, all the incredible information we're covering today is pulled directly from this document, the Resources Guide for Solo and Small Law Firms. It was put together by the Small Law Firm Committee at the New York City Bar, which means it's a framework built by people who have actually walked this path before you.
Let's dive into two of the very first and honestly most fundamental decisions you're going to make: what to call your firm and how to structure it legally. These choices are absolutely crucial because they are literally forging your firm's identity, both in the eyes of the law and the public, from day one.
Okay, so what's the choice here? Well, it really boils down to this core trade-off. You can be a sole practitioner. You have total flexibility, right? You are the business. But, and this is a big but, that means your personal assets are on the line. On the other hand, you've got the professional LLC, or a PLLC. Think of this as a shield. It's this great hybrid that gives you the liability protection of a corporation, but still lets you have a lot of that solo flexibility. It's no wonder this has become such a popular choice.
So once you pick a structure, you got to give it a name. And in New York, the rules of professional conduct are very clear on this. The main principle is super simple: be honest. You can use names of members, even retired or deceased ones, but you absolutely cannot be misleading or use some trade name that implies you can guarantee results. And for transparency, you have to use those suffixes like PLLC to let everyone know what your liability structure is.
All right, with your firm's identity set up, the very next step is to protect it. We're talking about professional liability insurance. And honestly, this is way less of an option and much more of an essential shield you need to build around your new practice.
Just pause on this question for a second. We all strive to be perfect, but we're human. Mistakes can happen. And in our world, this question isn't just some abstract idea. It is the absolute core of risk management for your entire career.
I know, navigating insurance policies can feel complicated. So let's just break it down. First, figure out your coverage limits, how much per claim and how much total for the year. Second, pick a deductible that you could actually afford to pay out of pocket. Third, and this is a huge one, so really ask this, find out if your legal defense costs eat into your total coverage. And finally, get clear on the retroactive date. You want to make sure there are no gaps and that your past work is covered.
So, with your practice protected, let's keep building on that secure foundation. It's time to manage your client relationships, and that all starts with a great engagement letter. And I'm telling you, this isn't just a formality. It's your #1 tool for setting crystal clear expectations right from the beginning.
And here's where it goes from being a good idea to an absolute requirement. In New York, that magic number is $3,000. If you think the legal fee is going to be more than that, you must have a written engagement letter. But really, it's a best practice for every single client, every single time, no matter the fee.
So, what makes a great engagement letter? Well, this table lays out the parts you just can't skip. First, the scope. What are you doing? And just as important, what are you not doing? Second, fees. Explain your costs in plain English. Third, arbitration. Let the client know they have a right to arbitrate fee disputes. And finally, termination. Spell out how the relationship can end for both sides. Trust me, this will prevent so many headaches down the road. All right, let's shift gears and talk about the engine that's going to run your modern practice. Technology. And this isn't just about having a computer. It's about deliberately building a secure and efficient digital command center for your entire operation. So here is your basic starter toolkit. You need a professional website and your own domain. That's non-negotiable. Your email has to be secure, and you need encryption for sensitive info. A VoIP phone system is the modern, flexible way to go.
You need a secure way to share documents. And this last one is so important. Strong password protection on every single device, no exceptions.
And look, this isn't just good advice, it's actually an ethical duty. The ABA is really clear on this. Your responsibility to protect clients' information means you have to take reasonable efforts to stop it from getting into the wrong hands. And when the information is extra sensitive, that standard is even higher. Cybersecurity isn't an IT issue, it's a core professional responsibility. Wow, we've covered the big foundational pillars for launching your practice. But like it says here, your journey is really just beginning. So let's bring it all together and talk about what comes next.
Let's recap with a final launch checklist, okay? First, define your business structure and name it correctly. Second, get that professional liability insurance. Third, draft a rock-solid standard engagement letter. And fourth, implement secure technology from day one. Think of this as your launch sequence, and that full guide we mentioned as your mission manual.
And here it is. We've only scratched the surface today. For a true deep dive, for the real details on all these topics and so much more, this is your resource. Keep this link handy. It is an absolutely invaluable companion for any attorney who's building their own firm.
So we've walked through the nuts and bolts, right? The how-to of getting started. You have the blueprint in your hands. So the final question isn't about mechanics anymore. It's about vision. What kind of firm are you going to create? What kind of impact are you going to make? Now go build it.